Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the DX Ultra Metal Ultra Legend set EX01. Previously we had Ultra Legend sets 1 and 2, but they wanted to give us even more medals, so there are 4 new EX sets to check out. These are definitely more obscure characters, not necessarily Ultras themselves, but some of them are kind of like allies of Ultras or weird combined forms that probably you can already make with medals you already have. I've seen some of the ones that are just kind of like a bunch of Ultras together on one. Like there's an Ultra Brothers medal out there. But in any case, this first set has to do mostly with Zero, either Zero himself, people who teamed up with him, support staff, allies, whatever you want to call them. So the very first medal in the top left, we have Shining Ultraman Zero. So that's just one of his forms. Then to the right of him, we have Glenfire, and the right of him, we have Mirror Knight to round out the top row. Starting in the bottom left, we have John Bot, and then John 9, and then Ultraman Jeed Primitive. So we already have Jeed Primitive from the Delta Rise Claw set, but that's done with a gold trim, and this has red trim. So if you just wanted an Ultraman Jeed to fit with all the rest of the Ultramen, since most of the others had the red trim, they supplied that here, and obviously Jeed kind of had a big relationship with Zero, so that's why it makes sense to include him here. So like I said, these all have some kind of connection to Zero, which I think is pretty cool. Now, the only bad side about this is, while it's awesome to get medals for all these characters, because they're rather obscure and not necessarily Ultras themselves, they don't really do a lot in the Z-Riser. They're not going to have a ton of combinations or anything like that. I think there's literally only one combination I can do for you. But they still look neat, so we'll definitely check them out, and they should be at least having sounds each individually, so I'll probably just do each one individually in the Z-Riser. But cool packaging. You can kind of see a group shot of the characters here, and then obviously here's Zet over here on the left. Taking a look on the back, just kind of shows you, again, popping each one of them into the Z-Riser on its own. Not really much else to do. You can use them with the video arcade game if you live in Japan as well, but I do not. So in any case, I'm going to go ahead and get these guys out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the 6 medals out of the packaging. We'll take a closer look at each one. First up, we have Shining Ultraman Zero. Very nice. They all have kind of that cool holofoil sparkle in there, which I really appreciate. I still wish it would have their names on the back. I just think it would make it easier to identify them, but what are you going to do? Next up, we have Glenfire, and I'm really not too familiar with these characters, unfortunately, but this guy looks awesome. He's got a giant flaming head. Can't go wrong with that. Looks very, very cool. Not too much going on in the back there. Next up, we have Mirror Knight, which also sounds pretty cool. I'm hoping these guys show up in the Absolute Conspiracy, because I would like to see them. They all look pretty neat. I'm somewhat familiar with Jean Bot and Jean 9. I have figures of them. They can both transform, which is pretty neat. They have alt modes. Jean Bot is kind of a jet. And then I guess Jean 9 is also some kind of flying vehicle, but it's a little bit less traditionally jet looking, if that makes sense. But still very, very cool robot. And then of course we have Ultraman Jeed Primitive, and then just to compare him to the one from the Delta Rise Claw set, pretty much exactly the same. It's just the outer plastic is a different color. I believe the chip inside is exactly the same. I've tested it out. You can use this in place of this in the Delta Rise Claw transformation. I'm not going to show it off because you guys have heard it before, but just know that these are interchangeable. So there is that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the medals on their own. Let's go ahead and bring in the Z-Riser. Alright, so I'm just going to roll through each one of these on its own. We'll go ahead and pop in the Haruki card.
Shining Ultraman Zero. Shining Ultraman Zero.
I think it's kind of funny because I couldn't decide if I wanted to call him Jeanbot or Johnbot, and they're just like, no, it's Janbot. So they just threw a new third variable in there.
Ultraman Z, Gen 9. Gen 9.
And even though he's exactly the same, we'll show you Jeed.
Ultraman Z, G, Primitive. G,
So that's pretty much it for them on their own. There is one combo we can do, but we have to switch out the card and bring in Riku.
Riku, access granted. Shining Ultraman Zero. Ultraman. Ultraman G, Shining Mystic. Shining Ultraman Zero. Ultraman. Specimen, Star Drive.
So unfortunately, that is the only new form that I can show you, and you need the Ultraman medal. But still pretty cool medals overall. So overall, I think it's a pretty cool little set. Yes, you only get one new combination, and that's with Ultraman and Shining Ultraman Zero here, but it's still a pretty cool, obscure group of characters that's fun to get medals for to add to your collection. They're not necessarily all Ultraman, but they're kind of allies or robots or just general support team for other Ultramen, and I think that's kind of neat. Plus, it's kind of cool to get that G in the red trim, so it's a little bit more uniform with the rest of the Ultra medals. But it is completely interchangeable with the gold G primitive that you probably already have from the Delta Rise Claw set. So the nice thing is this is a normal retail release, so it should be pretty easy to track down and really not that expensive. So if you're just looking to add 6 cool medals to your collection, I recommend picking this up. Even though it's not a ton of functionality, I still think they're fun to collect and they look really great. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.